We're very pleased to be here with John Daniels, BICSI's Chief Executive Officer, talking about the upcoming BICSI Winter Conference and Exhibition taking place in February 2023. John, thanks very much for joining us. I really appreciate having some of your time today.
Thanks, Patrick. It's good to be here with you again. It seems like we've done this before.
We have, and I appreciated it then, appreciate it now, and glad to be doing this again. Speaking of doing it before, this 2023 Winter Conference is the anniversary, 50th anniversary, representing 50 years of conferences for BICSI. And for our industry, it's really the first big event of the new year. And when we think about the new year, it's kind of customary to look back and look forward. So to start off with, I'd like to ask you to do that. Can you sort of put 50 years of learning in a little bit of a nutshell and comment on some of the major milestones that BICSI has accomplished with its educational offerings? And then once you've done that impossible task, can I ask you to look forward, sort of what's on the short-term horizon? What's sort of immediately ahead for BICSI members as well as others who benefit from the association's educational offerings? So on the occasion of 50 years, could I ask you to look both back and ahead?
Sure. Trying to condense 50 years of accomplishments in about a 1 to 2 minute soundbite is a little challenging, but I accept the challenge. So I'll do the best I can. I do appreciate the opportunity, Patrick, to talk about that. That's really the focus of our event this year, is the 50th anniversary. And, looking back, it's easy to see that BICSI has advanced its mission in a very significant way. Depending on who you speak with, though, the idea for organizing a professional ICT association was kicked around in the 60s to early 70s because of the need for standards, right? Some folks were working in the profession at the time, were gathering together at the University of Kentucky and the University of Florida here in Tampa, University of South Florida, I should say, to educate each other on topics and trends of the time, right? So the first gathering, just let me reminisce for a second, the first gathering was a 2.5-day meeting in January of 1973 in Tampa. There were about 115 attendees, 14 exhibitors, and 13 presentations. And those presentations highlighted the importance of the interface, get this, the interface between telephone companies and building owners. So that was their focus. Over a 50-year span, of course, BICSI, and when I say BICSI, I'm really talking about all of the volunteers, the staff, other participating stakeholders. They've now produced multiple standards, created specialized training programs, introduced certification programs, and they've convened industry professionals on a global scale. So today, our conference will welcome about 4,000 attendees for the virtual and the in-person components combined. We're looking at about 150 exhibitors and close to 50 education sessions and presentations that cover topics of our time, which is Internet of Things, intelligent buildings, optical fiber, PoE, edge computing, and certainly a lot more. There's definitely a lot to celebrate, right? So you asked me to look back, and I did that briefly. So let's look forward for just a minute. I think looking forward, BICSI continues to expand its standards, its manuals, other publications like the field guides. It continues to strengthen and expand its training and certification programs. And this fiscal year alone, we're poised to support over 120 educational events, in person and virtual, around the world. Wow. So a lot has changed over the past 50 years. And, where we are today, I expect there'll be lots of changes going forward.
Excellent. And if I can, I can't resist. I am certain that somewhere, at some time, at this upcoming conference in February 2023, there will be some discussion, maybe in a hallway, about the interface between the telephone company and the building. So I think it's going to come completely full circle at some point. So some things evolve so much that they come right back to where they were. But thank you for that. I want to take a moment to ask or ask, I guess, on behalf of first timers, because that's one of the things that I find exciting about every BICSI conference, is that there are some first timers there. experiencing their first BICSI conference and exhibition. I've been fortunate enough to have been to several, so the schedule is one that I'm used to and so on, but wondered if you could tell us, for a couple of minutes, in consideration of people who will be there for the first time, what can they expect? What opportunities are available to a full conference attendee who is there for the first time, or maybe the second time, but a relative newcomer to this event?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think the first time attendees can expect to enjoy the same experience as, attendees that have been coming for years or have come, attended before. This experience, I think, includes meeting and networking with their industry colleagues, which BICSI is really the place to do that, in my view. They'll be receiving high quality, highly relevant, expert education through, all the education sessions that we're offering. They'll be able to check out the latest and the greatest technologies and solutions from the companies that are going to be on the exhibit hall and sharing, their solutions and their latest and greatest technologies. But they'll also be able to get to know the BICSI staff within the BICSI community area. And the staff will be able to answer all of their questions about BICSI membership and ICT career paths and BICSI certifications and publications and standards and manuals and all the BICSI courses and training opportunities that are available to them through the BICSI organization. They'll also have the opportunity to purchase BICSI gear to be able to sport that wherever they go back home to and work, to share that their support of BICSI. And then they'll also have the opportunity to contribute to BICSI Cares. And so in short, I think what we're trying to do is make sure that they're able to remember this event for years to come, and that in the future, they'll be able to look back and say that attending the first BICSI conference was one of the best decisions they ever made in their career. So the team has been working very hard to try to help them in that respect.
And I'm sure it will be the case. Thanks, John.
Yeah.
I'd like to dive sort of a little bit deeply into some of the specific events and components of the conference and the exhibition itself, starting with the fact that education is available before the conference technically begins. So I understand there are a couple of different learning opportunities prior to that conference getting underway on the Tuesday. There are training classes from BICSI Learning Academy, and there are also sessions called master classes. So if I could ask you to get into some detail, can you tell me the differences between, what these two are, what prospective participants in these learning opportunities could expect or should know when making a decision to participate?
Yeah, that's a great observation, and obviously an important question for those who are considering coming and perhaps attending one of these training courses or master classes. But you're right, they're definitely different, and they're both being offered as a pre-conference option to their registration to the conference. So I'll start with the training courses. These training courses are BICSI's specialized training courses that we offer throughout the year. However, we intentionally scheduled these classes to occur the week prior to conference as a pre-conference training opportunity to help the students maximize their time in Tampa and to help them save on travel costs. For example, I could buy one plane ticket to fly to Tampa to take the pre-conference BICSI training course I need and attend the BICSI conference, all on the same ticket, right? So
Right.
This gives them the opportunity to knock out a bunch of training with one trip instead of separate trips. One of the courses that we're holding this year, and I'll give a brief overview of the courses that we're holding. One of the courses we're holding this year is the PM 102 course, which is called Applied Telecommunications Project Management. It comes with 35 CECs, continuing education credits, and it's designed to help build on the students' existing project management skills. It also will explore the steps and the thought processes behind the basic principles and the information necessary for managing a successful telecommunications project. So it's a really good course. The second course that we're offering as a pre-conference training class is DD 102, and that's called Applied Best Practices for Telecommunications Distribution Design. That one comes with 37 CECs, and it's focused on helping students learn how to design distribution systems. It's a very comprehensive course. It involves some intensive hands-on work related to designing structured cabling systems. So that would be another worthwhile training class for folks to attend if they haven't attended it already, or to attend it again as a refresher. The third course that we're offering is OSP 102. It's called Applied Outside Plant Design. That one comes with 35 CECs, and it's designed to provide application-based knowledge of all the aspects of the outside plant installation process. So the students will participate in a series of design exercises, such as route design, selecting cables to be housed in the pathways and spaces, identifying splice configurations based on a proposed route, planning a new cable plant, OSP cable plant, and then developing a preliminary budget for the project. All three classes are going to be held at the state-of-the-art BICSI headquarters building in Tampa, not at the Tampa Convention Center. Right. So each course will run from Tuesday, January 31st through Saturday, February the 4th, which of course is just in time for them to be able to attend a pre-conference masterclass before they attend the actual conference. So I'll talk about the master classes next. The master classes are the other pre-conference learning opportunity for attendees. These differ from the BICSI courses that I just talked about in that industry experts have to submit a proposal to present on a particular topic through a pre-conference masterclass, right? So all of the proposals are reviewed by the BICSI Presentation Selection Work Group, which is made up of BICSI members, many of whom who are also subject matter experts themselves. And then the master classes come in three sizes: half day, full day, or 1.5 days in length. And this year we're offering 7 different master classes. On Sunday morning, there's a half day master class called Installer's Guide to POE Lighting. And it's where expert members of the POE consortium will provide vital information on deploying and commissioning POE lighting systems. So that's the first one. The other half-day class on Sunday morning is called Sustainable Technology Innovations and Solutions for Smart Buildings. The attendees in this class will learn about the latest smart technology innovations and solutions that are helping them to reduce deployment and operational costs. There's also going to be 2 half-day master classes on Sunday afternoon. One is called Time is Money, Smart Building Construction Contract Time Delays and Schedules. And in this one, Henry Frank and Pat Mahoney will strive to help the installers remain competitive and increase their profit margins in smart building construction by strategically scheduling and sequencing work and addressing delays. The other half-day masterclass on Sunday afternoon is called Never Off Power, a hands-on look at protection, distribution, and management strategies in the data center and beyond. And that masterclass, of course, will be talking about protecting, distributing, and managing power in data centers and other ICT spaces. Also on Sunday will be the first full day of the popular 9 CEC masterclass on the fundamentals of passive optical LAN. Now this class, so the first full day is on Sunday, and then the other half of the class or the wrap up will be on Monday morning. So then continuing on Monday, there'll be a full day masterclass on designing for POE lighting and automation. And it'll be taught by top design professionals and subject matter experts with experience in designing and constructing POE buildings. But there are 4 other half-day classes happening on Monday as well, 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and they cover everything from fiber standards and FTTX outside plant design to optical infrastructure impacting the data center landscape, from the hyperscale to the edge, and so on. So the master classes are great opportunities, in addition to the pre-conference BICSI courses, to leverage their time in Tampa to get as much training and education as possible, in addition to what they're going to get at the conference. Now, I will share, though, Patrick, that they can get more details about the master's classes on the conference registration website. Right. So they just got to go to BICSI.org, click on the conference registration link, and then at the top of the next page, there'll be a home button. They'll click on that home link, and then on that page, when it loads, they'll click on the conference drop-down menu. There's a banner that goes across the top, and one of those options is conference. They'll click on that, And within that menu is the pre-conference link. So if they click on that, they'll get all the details they want about the master classes, the BICSI courses that are available, and of course, any other information about the conference they want. And I'll use this as an opportunity to talk about the new BICSI registration website. We've moved our registration website to a different platform, and it's awesome. I've been through it. It's easy to navigate. The things that I'm hearing from others who have used it and continue to go back to it for information have nothing but great things to say from what I'm hearing. So, of course, this makes us really happy that we've been able to make that improvement for the BICSI conferences going forward.
Thank you, John. Thanks for all that information. Really appreciate it and appreciate helping those who are interested make their way first through the through the website and make their way to Tampa for what is sure to be an outstanding week or couple of weeks of learning. So thank you for that detail. It's much appreciated. Another aspect of the conference itself is always the keynotes, and I understand there are multiple keynotes for this upcoming winter conference. From what I've seen in looking at who the keynoters are, it looks like a pretty diverse set of individuals who I'm sure are going to inspire attendees in a few different ways, but want to ask you if you can tell us who those keynoters are, a little bit of detail about each of them, and then if you wouldn't mind, John, why were these individuals BICSI's choices as keynoters for this event?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I thank you for the opportunity to talk about our keynotes and our speakers. I'll start with the opening keynote. I'll preface it by saying I'm sure that you and your readers have all heard about the infrastructure bill that was signed into law back in 2021. The bill that included $65 billion specifically for broadband deployment and adoption in underserved areas. And the intention is to bridge the digital divide and connect all Americans with high quality broadband service. This is an American initiative. Of course, our global audience members would want to pay attention to this because we're seeing similar initiatives pop up around the world in other countries. But it's already been built into the law here, and the money's been made available for that. So obviously we want to learn more about it. Unfortunately, one of the biggest challenges that we're seeing in the U.S. Relative to this initiative, and that's slowing this initiative down, is a workforce shortage. Mm-hmm. There's just not enough people to get the job done. Skilled people, right? Well, this is the kind of work that BICSI installers and project managers and designers do. So the question I've been asking is, how can we help BICSI members offer their services to help get this work done? And so this is where our opening keynote comes in. Shirley Bloomfield. Shirley is the CEO of the NTCA Rural Broadband Association. Her association represents nearly 850 independent telecommunications companies that are leading innovation in rural and small town America. She's been intimately involved in this initiative, including attending meetings at the White House and contributing to the discussions on the broadband workforce shortage. So, in discussions with her, she graciously agreed to come educate all of us on the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, and then to explain the ways that the funding is going to flow and how various industries can come together to overcome, these challenges, like the workforce challenge, and as well as the supply chain challenges and issues that we're seeing. So then after Shirley will start off, she'll give some opening remarks, and then Carol Everett Oliver, our BICSI board president, is going to come on stage and sit down with her for a fireside-like chat on the topic, and to bring the discussion closer to home for the attendees. So it's really shaping up to be a really good keynote, informational, and certainly helpful to those in the audience wanting to get a piece of that $65 billion pie to implement broadband, right? So for the midweek and the closing keynotes, our thinking was that we wanted to do something different. Speakers that could help us celebrate our 50th, while also providing some self-reflective, thought-provoking messages that would serve to help put behind us all of the challenges and the changes we've experienced over the past few years, like COVID and the economy with inflation, the war in Ukraine, the political division that we're seeing, just to name a few, right? So every BICSI member, company, and stakeholder, each has had to adjust to their own unique issues brought about by these challenges. And, some of us are adjusting better than others, and that's okay. So for our midweek and closing keynotes, we wanted to offer a couple of different perspectives that we expect would resonate with many of the attendees, maybe not all, but nonetheless, provide new perspectives for folks to consider that could serve to make each of us a better installer, a better project manager, a better designer, a better business owner, a better service provider, or just an overall better ICT professional or person, right? So our midweek keynote is going to be delivered by JJ Bird. JJ is a former NFL player, and he's going to share with us his story and thoughts on being a small man in a big man's game, and how he found a way to win despite the insurmountable odds that he faced as a small NFL player, if you will, right? So that'll be an interesting perspective on how to overcome those challenges, right? And then the closing keynote will be by Kai Kite. As we end the conference and close out our 50th celebration, our thinking is that Kai can show us how our experiences, remember the challenges and the changes that I mentioned a minute ago, but how the routines that we depended on for so long, how they've disappeared, right? And while this void has been devastating for many, Kai is going to explain how this also leaves us with an incredible opportunity that he describes as a blank page on which we can compose our future. So as BICSI transitions from its first 50 years into the next 50 or longer, Kai is going to encourage us to make such a difference now, today, that when we look back on this moment in the years ahead, we'll be able to say that we've made leaps forward by creating more innovative technologies, more human-centric businesses, and more inclusive workplaces. So by the way, Kai has a very creative way of inspiring his audiences, which I hope the conference attendees will enjoy. So it'll be fun to watch. Looking forward to it very, very much for all three of them.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And thanks for the cliffhanger too. It'll certainly bring people in that Thursday morning to see Kai's methods. Thank you. Appreciate that a great deal. And you mentioned challenges. That word has been brought up a few times here, and understandably, often in life, challenges are either unexpected or present themselves as something that's undesirable. But
and
the
they
challenge that we're all
sometimes turn our world upside down, right?
Yes, exactly. The challenge that we're all looking forward to, and that folks enter willingly, is the cabling skills challenge taking place at the winter conference and exhibition. I consider it to be a spectator sport right there on the show floor. That's always how I've seen it, and I have sort of lurked around taking a look at the participants, as they are put to the test with their skills. So I'd like to ask a couple of questions about that challenge. First, what are you anticipating or looking forward to from the challenge? And then if you could follow up with, I understand it, it takes a number of individuals and a number of organizations to make that challenge happen. So in addition to what you're anticipating or looking forward to from that challenge, could I ask you to comment on a little bit of behind the scenes and how that cabling skills challenge really is the culmination of a cooperative effort among a lot of parties who probably don't get their names and titles mentioned very often?
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought this up. This is one of the more exciting activities that I think we bring to the winter conference. And you're right, many attendees thoroughly enjoy watching the Cabling Skills Challenge competition, certainly me included. I look forward to the excitement that it generates, not only among the competitors, but also among the attendees and the sponsors, right? So this event is a culmination of all the hard work that the competitors put into preparing for the competition, getting themselves ready. So when I think of this event, it reminds me of a time in my own career when I was a competitor for what was called at the time the Blanchard Trophy. And the winner, which was a crew of 2 people, was dubbed as the best ICBM launch crew on the planet. So that's gives you a little bit of background of what I used to do. It was a launch missile launch crew member, right? So, well, I didn't win the competition, but my crew commander and I came in second. And it really doesn't matter at this point. But the buzz that was generated leading up to, during, and following that competition represented the experience of a lifetime for me. Right. At the time I competed, I had no idea what impact it would have on my career, but it had a huge impact. And I could talk for a long time about the impact that has had. But the same can be said for previous Cabling Skills Challenge winners as well. So for example, Lee Renfro won 2 years in a row early in his career back in 2012 and 2013. You flash ahead 10 years and he now owns his own fast-growing ICT business in Georgia. And that's just one example of several. So I look forward to seeing the impact that this competition is going to have on the careers of these professionals and how they're going to impact the future of the profession, the industry, and BICSI. So that's what excites me. Getting to the second part of your question, you're absolutely right. It definitely takes a village to do this competition right. So there are multiple volunteer judges, sponsors, and staff involved in all aspects of the event, and they work for months leading up to this point, right? So at this year's competition, you're going to see about 15 volunteer judges who, by the way, are required to have prior training experience before they can be selected as a competition judge. And then you'll also see an additional 5 other judges that are provided by the manufacturers. So then we have about 15 or more manufacturer sponsors whose support is what makes this competition possible, right? Mm-hmm. We couldn't hold the competition without the sponsors. They provide the equipment, the supplies needed for the competition, and of course the expertise, right? So some of the competitors also are sponsored by their employers, which tells us a little bit about the great culture of those organizations that they work for. Right. Overall, I see it as a well-oiled, well-orchestrated, volunteer-led event, thanks to everybody involved.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. And my final question for you concerns the annual awards banquet, which takes place on the Wednesday evening of the conference. But before I ask that question, I hope you'll allow me to indulge and editorialize for just a moment. Having been to a number of these awards banquets in the past, I always, without fail, I have found that event to be an emotional time where collectively, when you think about it, hundreds of years of volunteerism and hundreds of years of professional excellence are recognized in one room under one roof. And, I just think if you consider that collective knowledge, experience, volunteerism, number of hours given, over the course of careers, like I said, I find it to be an emotional experience, and I don't think I'm just speaking for myself. I think that buzz is always in the air for that event. So thank you for allowing me the opportunity to editorialize on that before I ask you, and ask you to sort of let everybody know sort of what they might expect, despite my editorializing, at the awards banquet. And then if I could I get your view of that awards banquet? You mentioned, some prior experience you have launching ICBMs in a military environment. I know that you're also, prior to arriving at BICSI, you're a long-term association professional as well. So I imagine you've seen volunteerism year in and year out. So if another two-parter from me, could I ask you to let attendees know what they can expect from the awards banquet this year, and then ask for your reflections on this banquet for BICSI in light of what you've seen over a career of association management and volunteer efforts?
Yeah, this is another activity that I love talking about because it's so important. You're right. I've been involved in awards, banquets, awards dinners, and associations for a while, and both on the receiving end and the presenting end, and obviously a part of the planning as well. I would say that this year's awards banquet is special, of course, because we're celebrating BICSI's 50 years of conferences. So the theme might be about the 50th anniversary, if you can imagine. Black tie attire is optional, but I would like to take the opportunity to encourage folks to really dress up, dress for this huge milestone in BICSI's history. Again, it's not required, but certainly would encourage folks to show their pride. Of course, we're going to be honoring the 2022 award recipients, and we're going to have a really nice dinner. But I'm also very excited about the entertainment. Jason Hewlett is going to be doing it all in terms of the entertainment. He truly is a one-man show that provides music. He'll provide comedy. He'll provide the entertainment overall. He's a master impressionist. I've seen his work. He's really good. And I have no doubt he's going to be entertaining. He's performed in every major casino in Las Vegas. He's toured the world to entertain the U.S. troops in wartime Afghanistan. Mm-hmm. He's also claiming that he can even make IT engineers laugh outside of their bodies. But I'll let you and the dinner attendees be the judge of that. So it'll be fun. But I agree with you that it can be an emotional event. The award winners are recognized for their contributions to BICSI and the ICT profession. And the work that they do requires a lot of commitment, a lot of dedication, lots of hours invested in what they're doing for the industry, for BICSI, for the association, and just plain hard work on their part, right? And when you're recognized by name and deed by your industry colleagues in a public way, it tends to tug at your heartstrings a little. So yeah, it can be a little emotional. But I like to say that the volunteers of BICSI are a very compassionate bunch, and I couldn't be more thrilled about that. Every association, generally speaking, has volunteers. But when an organization's in trouble, when its members could really care less and just don't engage or volunteer or even express their opinions on topics of importance, I'm seriously grateful that this is not the case at BICSI. When you attend the awards dinner, think about everyone we're recognizing at the event, from the outgoing board members to the technology showcase winner, every award recipient, everybody who was nominated. These people are all engaged in BICSI and the profession and the industry. They're passionate about what we do. And BICSI must continue to recognize its members for that passion. So the awards dinner, the awards banquet is just one way that we can provide that recognition. And we love doing it every year. We're excited about it. Love seeing people walk across the stage, taking their award, having the pictures made, because it really does represent the passion that the people in the BICSI organization and the ICT profession and the industry demonstrate. So I'm glad to be a part of this organization. I'm glad to be among those who are recognized as sort of the rock stars of the industry. And I really look forward to that night. It's almost a culmination of the week's activities and certainly the volunteer work that folks have been doing over the past year. So it'll be a lot of fun.
I'm sure it will. Thank you, John. Thanks very much for that explanation, as well as the information you've given on all the topics I brought up here. I asked you to make some personal observations at times, and I really appreciate, in this business environment, you offering those personal insights. It's greatly appreciated. On behalf of Cabling Installation and Maintenance, thank you for this time. And as something of a member of the ICT industry as a whole, I'll thank you as BICSI's Chief Executive Officer for the work that the organization has done to really, in a word, empower the members of the industry through knowledge, through education, and through competence, and everything that BICSI continues to do for the people, the individuals who are its members and who are not its members, but are part of the industry as well. BICSI's openness to educating anybody who's interested in furthering themselves and furthering their careers and enhancing their skills and knowledge is commendable. So another editorialization from me, but wanted to take this opportunity to say thanks from myself, but also on behalf of very, very many whom BICSI has helped over the years. So thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. I appreciate the recognition, but I would be remiss if I didn't call out those on the team who are the ones that are truly getting the work done and making it happen. Last year, the board president awarded the Presidential Legal Award to the BICSI staff.
Right.
That was a very emotional event for me and others on the staff as well, because of all the hard work they put into this. So they continue to do that. They're the ones, folks on the BICSI staff team. They're the ones that are doing the work, helping to orchestrate the Cabling Skills Challenge, helping to select the keynotes, and organizing the conference and organizing the awards dinner and all of that. So behind the scenes, you couldn't have a better team to pull all of this thing together for that week here in Tampa and every other conference that we do. So I'm extremely grateful, certainly humbled by the quality and the talent that we have. So while I appreciate your recognition, I'd like to extend that to the rest of the team who really are the ones who get the work done, get the job done. So thank you for that. And I look forward to seeing you at the awards dinner. So don't you miss the awards dinner. You have to be there.
I will not miss it. Thank you. I appreciate that. BICSI has graciously allowed me to attend over the years, and we at Cabling Installation and Maintenance try to cover it real time on our social media channels. So the opportunity to be there and take some shots of what's happening on stage has always been appreciated. I look forward to that, and look forward to seeing you, the BICSI staff, and of course I think the number you brought up earlier, approximately 4,000 who will be there to celebrate and also to learn and to continue to move forward. So thanks for this time again, really appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you and many, many others in early February in Tampa.
Thank you, Patrick. See you soon.